Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we are live. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, there's that. Hi, everybody. All right, let's see. Make sure everybody knows we're live. Go on the Twitters. Your questions, and let's go. All right, fire up the chat so I can see that, and we are good to go. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us on the little pregame before Christopher Eubanks and Daniel Altmaier. As you'll be able to see behind me throughout this little pregame, it is pretty busy here. It's a good crowd on hand. I arrived at 11:15 with Dwayne and the new guy Will, and there were already people like staking out their seats for Christopher Eubanks and Daniel Altmaier, which is certainly a good sign. Unfortunately, Tennessee lost their football game last night, so there was lots of liquor to be had across campus and in the hotel last night. A lot of liquor. I would be lying if I said I got a solid night of sleep, because I think I ended up going to bed at like 10:30. I was so tired. It's been a long 2 weeks, right, already. And so I went to bed at like 10:30 after like crying myself to sleep with Taylor Swift. Oh my God, that just crushing that album. But like I woke up at you're not pirating tennis right now. No. There's no tennis. There's no tennis, Chris. There's no tennis. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is no pirating. But I'm like listening to the Taylor Swift album, crying myself to sleep, 10:30. Woken up at like 12:15 by somebody screaming, 2 o'clock by somebody screaming, maybe 4-ish, somewhere in there. And maybe that was just me being old and having to go to the bathroom. The whole thing was just a crazy, crazy mess because of homecoming weekend. And then this morning, trying to go get my coffee. It takes like 45 minutes to go get a coffee. Holy moly. All of that is to say, we are going to have a fun time here today with this one. It's going to be unique, isn't it, Christopher Eubanks? The way he plays, his style, it is going to be attack, attack, attack. And I think a lot of it's going to just kind of depend on how Daniel Altmaier handles it, especially if Chris is executing as he did against Bjorn Furtangelo yesterday. Doubles final yesterday, in case you missed it. Malik Jaziri Blaz-Rola champions 10-5 in the match tiebreak. First title in doubles for Malik Jaziri since 2013, a solid 8 years ago. He's going to be in action in Champaign next week. I got to talk to my guy Josh Mycelis. See, they really have to change the ATP. It says Champagne. Champagne. I mean, we got to be better than that, right? It's not Champagne. So I'm driving to Champaign today, so that we're there tomorrow night I'm going to do the night session. Whatever the schedule will be tomorrow night, but I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm most excited, anybody who's watching who's lived in Champaign or been in Champaign, Chris, my cousin, I'm going to La Bamba's tonight at like 10 o'clock at night. Normally they're open till 2 in the morning. Counting on that, because I'm really looking forward to some great tacos from La Bamba's tonight. Let's see, what do we got already in Champaign today? Keenan Mayo lost 1-2 to Sho Shimabukuro, who I don't know. Taking out former Illini Keenan Mayo 1-2, and Heiss Brower a walkover win over Dennis Novikov. Keegan Smith 5-2 over Redlicki right now. Tristan Boyer and Felix Cohen to 4-all. Yeah, I mean, listen, La Bamba's tacos are legit. It's like $1.50. $1.50 per taco. Get some chorizo with cilantro. Maybe a little sour cream plus their hot sauce. God, I just hope they're open at 10 o'clock. I mean, it's going to be like a 7-hour drive from here, but you do gain the hour as you're heading into Central Time. It's going to be legit. And listen, I love my mother very much, right? I love her to death, but I'm not staying at her house because of the late hours I have in Champaign. So it'll be 10:30, get back to the hotel, and just go absolutely nuts with some La Bamba's tacos. Oh, God, that's going to just just be fantastic. I'll have to find somewhere where I can get a margarita on the way as well. Grab a couple cans and just get after it tonight. New podcast tomorrow as well. I think we're going to be recording with Blas Rolla tomorrow night. They're just having a little bit of a clinic over on our side court right now. Some of the kids who have been ball kids throughout the week. As a result, it's a pretty good crowd of kids here today, which is awesome. It's been crowded all week. Let's see. I think I can show you Chris Eubanks. He's hiding back there behind the curtain. There he goes. There's Chris. It is cold down on the court right now. Cold. I came, like I said, I got here at about 11:15 this morning, and it was frigid inside the building because the air conditioning fans had been on all night. No bueno. So Chris has been trying to keep warm. I've been trying to keep warm. I'm obviously keeping my mask on for two reasons. One is obviously COVID. The other one being flipping cold. But I think it'll be regulated as we go on. So Daniel Altmaier has had a very good week, and most importantly for him, he's now inside the top 100 for the first time in his career. 23-year-old German. Seems very nice, always seems to have a smile on his face as he's walking around afterwards. He's come up and talked to me a couple times, and I'm actually, if he wins, I'll be interested to talk to him and just understand why he's here as opposed to on a more native clay surface. Haven't gotten to chat with him in that regard yet, but that will be an interesting discussion. He is going to be playing next week in Champaign, or at least that's his plan. And I suppose if he's over here, why not, right? Just give it one more week instead of going home. So he'll be the top seed in Champaign next week. Champaign is like the craziest week every year. Who knows what your motivations are going into that week, the last week of the season for so many people. This week's been interesting. And I should also point out, now we're down to, I think we're down to 3. We're down to 3 people who can win the Australian Open wildcard. Stefan Kozlov, J.J. Wolf, and Michael Moe has the most outside shot. But Maxime Cressy losing to Oscar Ode earlier today in Europe. God, where was that? Ortsai? Eckental? Can't remember which challenger, but anyways, losing in the final, that means he's mathematically eliminated. The most points he can get next week would put him in second place, so Cressy's out. Mo would have to win the title and have both JJ and Kozlov lose in the first round, or first or second round. But Kozlov remains in control of his own destiny for the Australian Open wildcard. What questions do you guys have? Everything is on the table here today. I'm not going to impugn any players. That's number one. So don't get too anxious about that. But I mean, anything you want is completely on the table today. More than happy to answer any and all of your questions as we progress through this one. We're about 13 minutes away. It wouldn't surprise me if they do a national anthem today. It looks like Yvette is going to be our chair umpire as she walks across the court now, which is good. I think there will be a lot of, at least know from Christopher Eubanks' perspective, having talked to him about it before, I know he will be very happy to see her in the chair, trusts her, even though, listen, everybody misses call now and then, but she is very firm in control of the situation throughout. It is I got to tell you, they have some breakfast for the volunteers today. They've got some, like kind of a VIP section as well. And it's biscuits and gravy and bacon. And I gotta be, listen, I'm gluten intolerant, the real kind of gluten intolerant, but it smells delicious, and I would really like to have gotten some biscuits and gravy. Keith Crossland is here, filling in as challenger supervisor yesterday and today. Just kind of an emergency situation, so it's always great to have Keith here. Hello. Hi, everybody. It's nice. I don't think they know that they're on the stream. But yeah, so Keith will be kind of overseeing everything. Unfortunately, Brian early had an emergency and has had to leave, so Keith Crossland will handle things for us. A lot of people coming from Sunday church, and as we mentioned, it was homecoming weekend here. Yeah, the lines to get into the bars last night on the way home. In the middle of the game, it was like halftime. Right, halftime of the game, and it was nutty. Took us like 15 minutes to get back to our hotel last night, even though it was halftime, because everybody's just out getting just absolutely hammered. All right, you guys, any questions? What questions do you possibly have here today that we can answer as we head towards our final week of the year on the USTA Pro Circuit? I'll try to answer them as best I can. We do have the chat available both on Twitch and on YouTube here today. For Eubanks, this is fourth finals, won two of his previous three. Altmaier has 2 titles this year. Both were on clay, however, so you've got that little wrinkle. This is a springy court. There's no doubt about that. It has some hop to it. That's why Altmaier's certainly been a little bit more comfortable and confident with it. It does have that little bit of slowness to it that allows him to get into things. And I know it's been very important for him to start having some better results on hard courts and kind of improve that aspect of his game. When you think about going to Australia, when you think about the U.S. swing in the summer in terms of big picture for him, that's a very important thing. So he's trying to make sure he does get these opportunities and start to sort it out and get that necessary experience. He'll be in the Australian Open main at this stage. Today, obviously, would lock things up and really cement him. I think he would be in the live rankings at 93. Memory served. You know what? I actually have it right here. He would get to 93 if he gets a win today. So then obviously firmly inside the top 100, nothing to worry about. With it being at 99, I suppose it's entirely possible that next week you could potentially fall out if a couple of players have good weeks. So be it. For Christopher Eubanks, this is it for him. He is headed to World Team Tennis tonight. Who's he playing with? Oh, yeah, New York Empire. Hey, thanks, Ted. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you as well, if it's the Ted that I think that it is. Yeah, certainly disappointed I didn't get to be out in Cary this year for the second event, but so be it. So Chris will be headed to play for the New York Empire. I believe they had Ulysses Blanche and Darian King last night playing for them. I got to be honest, I wouldn't mind being part of the broadcast team out there some year. Although I think I'd prefer to be doing challengers here, big picture. But yeah, if it works in the schedule, I would love to be part of the broadcast team at Indian Wells. It was so much fun being out there at Indian Wells about a month ago. So to get the opportunity to head back out there would be a lot of fun. Hopefully, though, with World Team Tennis, they're able to get everything settled next year and start having just a little bit more regularity, get all the teams back, or maybe a few new teams potentially, but just have, I guess, that traditional season. I prefer having it at a different time of the year just so that you can have the focus. I know one thing that's always been really difficult for the World Team Tennis players is just having it right before the U.S. Open in the middle of that stretch in between Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. It's been really challenging because so much is required of you. The overnight flights, yes, they're in private jets and they're very fancy, but at the same time, the overnight flights, you're just exhausted. And then you try to get back up for the U.S. Open and qualifying specifically, and everybody's just completely gassed. So I'm a big fan if you can kind of separate it and just make it its own entity for a good period of time while allowing still everybody to have that necessary rest. So about 6 minutes now until our players are going to be reporting to court. Ian Van Cott is our tournament director. He's right next to me right now. He's going to be doing the introductions here in a couple minutes. Of Christopher Eubanks and Daniel Altmaier. All right, I'll put it to you guys right now so we get a little discussion going. Who do you got today? Make your pick, and tell me who and in how many sets today. Ted says, glad to see Chris playing well. What court speed do you predict for Champagne? First off, Ted, we gotta work on your spelling of Champagne too. Come on, buddy. It's Pain, P-A-I-G-N. Well, I don't know the court speed right now. I haven't been to the tennis center in 9 months. I'm assuming, as they normally do during the summer, that they were resurfaced, but I don't know what speed. Typically, it's been a little bit faster than Knoxville, But I honestly, I just don't know. It's still a slower indoor hard. You know, it's all relative right now. Connor Mogul says Eubanks in 3. Fair. Chris has had 2 3-set wins out of his 4 this week. Altmaier, exact same, last 2 rounds. All right, Ted says Chris in 2 close sets. I do tend to think it will be pretty close. I do agree with that. I think, for me, what's going to really kind of determine this is the second serve battle for Altmaier. That second serve is definitely attackable. Chris is he returned incredibly well on seconds yesterday from Fratangelo, and I think that's going to be huge. I'm also going to be curious to see how Altmaier adjusts through the match to Eubanks' serve. If Chris is not hitting his first serve at a good percentage, as he's capable of, then maybe this whole discussion is moot. But if Chris is hitting the serve like he has been throughout this week, I think then it's going to be a question of how Altmaier adjusts, what he does here through the day. But yeah, I think Chris's serve percentage and effectiveness with it, and then Altmaier, for him, how he handles the fact that Eubanks is going to be coming after those second serves pretty aggressively, I think is kind of the big thing for me. All right, 2 minutes left to get in your last questions. Again, as we kind of think big picture for our schedule for the next couple days, I'm going to be driving to Champaign through the night tonight. So we're going to be doing the night session tomorrow in Champaign on the USTA Pro Circuit live stream, just so I can get in a little bit of rest and try to recover, get the body back to where it needs to be and where the brain needs to be. But then we'll have full coverage, obviously, throughout the week in Champaign, heading to our Sunday final, the end of the USTA Pro Circuit Challenger streaming season. But really, we really appreciate everybody who's been a part of it through the year. It has been obviously it's been a challenging season, to say the least, hasn't it? Yeah. I can say the players have made a heck of a lot of sacrifices. The tournaments that have been able to hold their events this year, the sacrifices they've had to make, the adjustments they've had to make to all of the COVID requirements, testing, and all of that. It's taken a lot, and there have been a lot of people who have had to step up and make some big sacrifices over the last year, both financially, mentally, health-wise. So we are very, very appreciative of that, and hopefully next year, again, we start to get a little bit closer to what is our normal. Yeah, I guess that about does it. You know where to find the stream. USTA Pro Circuit stream. You can go to the ATP Challenger page as well. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. We're happy to do it. But yeah, just join us there. Livestream.com/ATP as well, wherever it is that you find the stream. And you know where to find me as well, Mike C. Tennis on Twitter and on Instagram. And we will continue to have these fun conversations throughout this entire match. So head over there now. Players will be recording to court in 1 minute, and we will talk to you then.